Alright, Demon Souls, the first entry in the Souls franchise, the game where it all began. In fact, I even started my own channel with it, over 7 years ago. What is less alright is the fact that during a recent charity event that I did with several other Souls tubers, I kind of haphazardly promised that at some point this year I would try to beat Demon Souls using nothing at all. Meaning 0 equipment and a completely empty inventory. Yeah, I suppose I also put 0 thought into that promise, but now that I'm stuck with it, it might be smart to see if I first can get through this game by removing the one seemingly essential component that I would still at least have access to even without any equipment, namely the stamina bar. Now, the absence of rolling, running, blocking, parrying and any type of melee attack or handbow might not seem that daunting given how overpowered Sorcery is in this game. Blasting through enemies before they even have the chance to attack you, or simply one-shotting bosses with Firestorm. Contrary to Miracles, which mainly consist of support spells. And it wasn't until Dark Souls 2 that spells also started to consume stamina. But what if we also remove Sorcery from the equation? Well, ironically, without a magic wand in your arsenal, you're still bound to have a massive stick up your butt, given that miracles are practically useless for the most part. So what else can you even use without consuming stamina? Well, consumables like firebombs and throwing knives, which don't scale with anything and have low base damage to begin with, and, for whatever reason, crossbows, which also don't scale with anything and cannot even be upgraded. In other words, going through Demon Souls without any decent option for avoiding damage and without any decent option for dealing damage. You know, I'm already exhausted before the walkthrough has even started. Now, technically the rules leave the option for using miracles open, but I wasn't actually planning to make use of that to begin with. But you know, perhaps it will somehow turn out to be the exact loophole that will make completing this challenge even feasible to begin with. And, is that a foreshadow? Regardless, moving through the kingdom of Boletaria without using any stamina at all certainly requires a lot of endurance on my part.
I'm sorry for the times you scream and the times I made you lonely. I'm sorry for the times I made you cry and the times I didn't hold you. I'm sorry for the doubts I brought to you. I'm sorry for the dark I walked you through. I'm sorry for the times I put you through. Forgive me.
Okay then, or perhaps not okay then, because this will probably suck. But I started as a soldier, since we will mostly be cosplaying as a crossbow soldier. However, this class starts with crossbow bolts, but no actual crossbow. Which is like giving modern day soldiers ammunition but no gun. In fact, none of the starting classes have any means of attacking at the start, given the rules of the run, unless you would pick firebombs as a starting gift. However, you only get 5 of them, so I chose soul remains instead, since distracting enemies will be invaluable, and freeing Blige from his cell, the NPC who sells soul remains, would entail overcoming some expected as well as some unexpected obstacles. I suppose that over there also applies to that in a sense. Fortunately, despite the complete lack of poise which didn't yet exist in this game, heavy armor provides a very noticeable damage reduction. Unfortunately, it comes with this stupid looking hat.
And now you're gonna die wearing that stupid little hat. How does it feel?
Okay, and of course, when you actually move back here, there's some free... Oh fuck, rubble is also going to be annoying because I can't roll through it or punch my way through it. That's gonna be nice. So I even have to waste bolts on that. Before the merchant, there's also a whole bunch of rubble in front of that, so that's nice. Okay, well that's gonna be fun, especially because all the enemies are going to follow me, and I of course can't really run away from them. Hold on, I'm just picking up some grass, just move around them. Very nice. Don't attack me, I have a stupid head. Well, maybe they're attacking me because I have a stupid head, and to be honest, I can't even really blame them. Oh fuck, I already can't pick up this. Hold on, maybe if the enemy's following me, let the enemy break it. Can you break this for me? Yeah? Ow, don't break me! Don't break me, it was just for the firebombs. Uh-oh. Ooh. Oh boy, all these enemies... not helpful. The Thieves Ring. That's also something I want to desperately have. The problem is here, there's an enemy there in the way. How the hell do I get this enemy down? I can't even see the enemies. It's so dark here. Fuck, how the hell do I get that enemy here? Oh, he is out of the way. Okay, good. Good. Because even when you can run, Demon Souls, as I've mentioned repeatedly throughout the years, Demon Souls is quite different from the later Souls games, in the sense that you can't really run past enemies that easily. You know, Dark Souls 3, oh, really? There's not enough room? Ow. Dark Souls 3, for example, in practice is usually just a compilation of boss fights. Demon Souls is quite different. Oh, don't fall. Don't fall. It's spring after all. Oh. Okay, boulder. Yeah, okay. I wish you could sell stuff in this game, but unfortunately that's not something you can do. Because that would help out quite a bit. Uh-oh, shit! No, oh, this is bad. This is bad. Heal. I'm stuck! Quick, please, let me go! You realize that this means I literally made no progress. Technically, of course, I have firebombs now, but I don't want to waste them, because I need a whole shit ton of them for the phalanx. I can at least equip them. Oh, fuck, Yeah, but I was in the menu! No, I'm stuck again! Maybe I should not have equipped them. This is not gonna be a speedrun, that's for sure. The lack of progress is what we're here for. Now then, you're probably going to love the Demon Souls using nothing challenge later this year. Hey, what the hell? He just knocks me out of the animation. Hey, I can't use my firebomb. Okay, that helped. Okay, that helped. Okay. Worked out. No worries. Worked out. Okay, quickly. No, don't stab me. Okay. You can't drop down, hopefully. Okay. There we are. There we have it. But we only have 20 bolts, so we still have to be very, very careful here. But at least now we can actually defend ourselves. Fortunately, the heavy crossbow can be acquired in 3.1 already, but you know, we'll cross that bow when we get to it. Oh boy, this is gonna suck. Oh yeah, poise is also not really a thing yet in Demon Souls. Hey, lingering hitbox on the stab attack. Oh, this is nice. Okay, this is not the best damage, but it's something. Damn it, I can't attack! Heal. Son of a fuckface. Well, the few bolts I had weren't helping me out that much. In fact, given the amount of debris in front of the Dragon Merchant that I can't otherwise break, I had to make sure that an enemy would break them for me. Otherwise, I might actually run out of bolts and not be able to even reach the vendor in the first place. But once I did, I at least had access to wooden bolts, which are even weaker than the regular ones, but only cost 10 souls per piece. So at least I wouldn't have to fear running out of them anymore. However, I was kinda bummed out that firebombs cost a whopping 500 souls per piece. And I don't have that much money to burn. Fortunately, they can drop from the soldiers here, so with a little luck, I would have enough for the phalanx. Now, given the fact that you can't use first-person mode with a crossbow, like you can with a handbow, I made sure to acquire the telescope from Ostrava, hoping that that would allow me to aim when I'm too far away to lock onto an enemy. Unfortunately, that doesn't actually seem to work all that well. So free aiming was a constant nuisance throughout this entire playthrough. Well, that is where the name of this weapon comes from after all. It's a bow that makes you cross. Fortunately, because of my fire bombs, I can easily dispatch of all of the hoplites protecting the phalanx. And in case you don't know, in the cut content there was an alternate version of these enemies simply called hops. But the main difference is that the hoplite contains 50% less sugar. But the problem that we have now with acquiring new fire bombs is that the merchant now moves to stage 1-2 underneath the bridge, and later on to stage 1-3 protected by a ton of strong enemies. So unfortunately, for the most part, relying on bolts will be our crossbow to bear. But if we want to win with bolts, Bolt Win is ironically not the person to sell them to us, because the regular ones are not the most effective ones. And talking with the little kid at the top of the Nexus makes a monumental difference, because now we can acquire both the heavy crossbow in the Tower of Latria, as well as black bolts, the most powerful variety. But that's powerful within the context of crossbow bolts, so the damage difference won't exactly be all that impressive. And given how terrible our damage output is right now, the Squidwards in this area are no octopushovers. In fact, because our attack is also incredibly slow, every time I hit him, he will hit me in return. So instead of taking the squid pro quo approach, I realized that good fences make good neighbors. Although that wasn't always an option, meaning that it was a very slow and very thief ring based AI manipulation-y type of process to even get my hands on the heavy crossbow, and to gain access to the singing lady who sells black bolts. Which again means fuck all nothing given the context of how weak crossbows are in this game. And yes, you can make them more powerful with the clever red ring, and later on with the Morion blade, but this is not a crossbow only playthrough, this is a no stamina playthrough. And constantly being one hit away from death, when you can only avoid attacks by slightly moving to the side, doesn't sound like it would really put the clever in clever red ring. On the other hand, sometimes you need to create your own tactical advantage, which in practice simply means, getting lucky. Now fortunately we don't need to level up anything other than vitality because of the lack of... because of the lack of scaling of any of our equipment. But we do need, of course, a ton of souls for bolts and consumables. So therefore I decided to immediately take on the Fool's Idol, given that I was as poor as a church mouse at this point. And this encounter is actually quite doable, even under these circumstances, because of the pillars and the fact that a single bolt can get rid of the clone. Okay, 2 bolts apparently, for whatever reason, I don't know. Leaving the real one ripe for the snipe. Although her OnlyFans subscribers can mess with your lock-on, so in the end it was certainly not ideal, but definitely idle. First I need to know how much damage can I inflict on the skeletons. That's my first priority. The thing is, I have 10 soul remains, but will that be enough to even get Blige out of his cell? The thing is, I would still have to defeat the Adjudicator to even make use of that. Why can't I lock on? From this distance, I can't lock on. What kind of bullshit is that? Oh, yeah. The problem is, can I hit him like this? Doesn't look like it. 63. Okay, that's not good. That's not good. Okay. Papa was a rolling bone. Whoa. Okay, maybe I shouldn't try to sing, because then God himself gets angry. Which I can understand, by the way. I don't think that's unreasonable. Okay. Well, working so far, but yeah. Damn it, why is the lock-on so fucked up? Ow. Why can't I hit him? Dude. Well, this is fucked. Okay, that works. And now it doesn't work. Okay, I have to somehow make this work manually aiming. Okay. Oh, whoa, lock on! What the fuck was that? What the... Oh, this is bad. This is bad. This is bad. Damn it, he didn't even fall off. Oh, now he did. Ooh, quick, quick! No, the bleeding! Are you kidding me? I died from the blood loss. Well, that was a waste. Oh, okay, now I really have a bone to pick with these skeletons, because that's not humorous. Fuckalicious. Time to show some spine and perhaps find a little bit less of a, dare I say, bare bones approach for the final two.
Several bad puns later.
Hold on, maybe I can get behind here? Would that work? Oh, this is helpful. Okay, very good. Very good. Okay, we're making some very slow progress. But still, if I die, I have to go all the way past the skeletons again. Yeah, but then how the hell do I get past the Vanguard there? The Kiliji. Yeah, I can't waste any... Oh, I can't waste all my bolts on this guy. Shit! Oh, this sucks. Okay, this is not gonna work. I think this could... Oh, fuck, but am I not going to get stuck this way? Okay, maybe I just made a very bad mistake. Because there's a skeleton. How the hell can I flee from him? Maybe it's better to actually trigger him. Yeah, okay. Okay, move. Get up here. Get up here. Yeah, thank you. Hey, he didn't follow me. You're supposed to follow me. Oh, he is all right around the corner. Okay, this is not good. Yeah, soul remains. Shit, yeah. I think I have no other choice. Why is he not... I thought skeletons dropped soul remains and were attracted to soul remains. Am I wrong about that? Throw on the wall. No, he's not reacting to it. Fuckalicious. I can't hit him either. Well, fuck. Okay, now... Okay. Now I got him. If I can actually hit him. Jesus. Okay, so soul remains don't even work on the... So for no reason I started with soul remains and I was holding on to them. Well, that sucks. But yeah, it's the way it is. 2 more skeletons before we can get to Blige. Oh, what? Make that free. I wish I had fire bombs. I don't have the... No, I still don't have those. Hold on, if I do it from a little higher up... Oh, whoa! Another one! Jesus, why are there so many skeletons here? Well, this is fucking awful. Whoa! He dropped down! What a fucking dick! Okay, I'm in a really bad position now. I have 2 skeletons here and I have Vanguard outside. Either direction sucks. Yeah, so as you can see, against these rolly boys, even when you can roll yourself, you still don't feel like you're in complete control. But when you remove the roll part from that, you feel like a complete Wait, what? What the hell? You can't break illusory walls with crossbow bolts? What kind of logic is that? And it doesn't even matter which direction I take, because from either side there is an illusory wall that you need to remove in order to get to Blige's cell. And I definitely need him for kunai and soul remains. Fuckalicious. Well, that means that our only hope is that fire bombs will work. But unfortunately I don't have any of those on me right now. I will need to get them in stage 1 too. I wish I could level up my real life endurance. Fortunately, gold skeletons are distracted by soul remains for whatever reason. So that allowed me a somewhat awkward yet ultimately effective way to reach the adjudicator. Unfortunately, I could not remember what specific location in this arena is the place where you can safely fire at the boss and then simply side-strafe his attacks. Now, it was on the tip of my tongue, but thereby I ended on the tip of his. Regardless, not to worry, you can simply circle around him and he's not smart enough to turn a 180. After all, he is a bit of a bird brain and doesn't operate at peak performance. Although, he can still hit you with his tongue right through the floor, which doesn't make a lick of sense. Nevertheless, it didn't take that long before he ended up licking his wound. But personally, I was drooling for the prospect of soul remains and kunai, meaning I simply had to find a way to free Blige from his cell. Therefore, in the hope that fire bombs would be capable of dispatching illusory walls, And since I had enough vitality by now to survive the Dragon's Breath, not to mention that you can move underneath the bridge for the most part, I made my way to the Dragoning Merchant's second location. And while I was here anyway, I thought it was time for this knight to go to war against the War Knight. Well, there is some poetry to him falling to a crossbow soldier, and it was actually surprisingly easier than I expected. Mainly because, in my opinion, Tower Knight's scaling is just way too low. Now, I understand that he is considered an early boss fight, but given his immense size, he should also tower above the player in power and inflict way more damage than he does. Well, ultimately I'm not complaining, because at least that gives us some extra souls, and more importantly, I now have the firebombs that I require. So, let's hope that I can actually return to the illusory wall before I'm all burned out myself, and let's hope that the firebomb burns through said illusory wall. Otherwise I will be sad and walled off. Or could that merely be an illusion? Okay, moment of truth. Of course, there's still 2 skeletons in the way. Do firebombs work on illusory walls? Whoa, whoa, whoa. Well, let's take a look. What now? Seriously, what now? Yeah, there's nothing left. There's nothing that works. Quit out spawning on the wall might work? Yeah, I don't think so. Hey, that worked. Oh, hold on. That worked. Quitting out in against an illusory wall works. Oh, whoa. Holy fuck. Who said null moon? I need to survive. Oh, okay. Okay, well, at least we now know that we can break through a illusory wall, but now we have to figure out a way to deal with these skeletons. It's another, oh, ooh, fuck. Oh, okay, now move away, move away, move away, move away! Shit! I can't stand up here earlier, because I can't mash the circle button. Crap. This way it's going to take a long time before I can actually still get to Blige. I can get to Blige now, but yeah. Will I get to Blige? That's more of the thing. Oh, hey, now I'm all excited that I know I can get to Blige, but I don't get to Blige. Okay, don't get knocked off. God fucking damn it. Why now all of a sudden can't I even get to the illusory wall? See, if all of a sudden these skeletons are like, yo, you know what? We don't want you to progress, so fuck you. I don't know. For some reason they just fuck me over constantly now. Well, before it was already a narrow victory, but now it's not even a victory at all.
Eventually.
Yeah, free aiming is almost... Oh, yeah, that worked, but it was with the wrong arrow, unfortunately, but... Hey, come on! I needed one more hit! What the fuck? What the fuck? Okay, that's a slow one. Good. Son of a fuck. Horrible. Fuck, this one is already facing me. But if I can somehow free aim again... The thing is, I don't even see where the bolt lands. Yeah, that worked. Okay, it would be nice if he just de-aggroes, because then I can hit him in the back, and then I finally will be able to get to Blige. Good thing I didn't forget the copper key. That would have been one hell of a kick in the nuts.
It's thanks I can provide you with useful goods.
Yeah, and I'm happy to oblige. Alright, so now things are finally looking up. Which is unfortunate, because now we need to move downwards, but we got Blige for soul remains and kunai. And one specific benefit of using kunai is that you can use them to farm the Reaper. Also some poetry there that the Reaper is meant for farming. So I am sure that stage 4 too won't give us any trouble, right? Okay, at least I can tank through it. Now I have to take care of the Reaper. Okay, can I knock him back? Ooh, there's also some... Oh, whoa, whoa! Wait, no! Why? The Reaper is dead! The Reaper is dead! He was still able to fire his fucking laser before he died. Well, that... Okay, I somehow have to tank my way through this. Will it even be possible? Well, not like this. Fuck. Of course he's not going to drop down again. Oh wait, now the archer can actually hit me. Ah. Hey, what the hell? How did the skeleton get up here? What the fuck? How did the skeleton get up here? Ah. Okay, but now we're back. And now I still don't know how the hell am I going to deal with this. Oh. He's already... And I also don't have time to think, because this guy will just constantly respawn. It's a good thing they are so incredibly slow. Although their uppercuts are not that much worse than the uppercut you can use in the game. If you've never seen my Demon's Souls using only uppercuts video. Why does he respawn so quickly? How the hell am I going to do anything here? The moment I throw his soul remains, there's this ghost behind me. Okay, maybe if I throw it very high. Hey, that works. Oh, hey, that works. Oh, even the Reaper is attracted to it. Oh, that's a lot of damage. Could he heal? Okay, but that works. Okay, we made it. We made it work. Nice delicious. Alright, so we made it to the old hero, and in the land of the blind, the one wearing the thieves ring is king. And unlike him, I'm a visionary who won't turn a blind eye to a tactical approach. Namely, to counteract his valor of yore with venom of soaring through the sky, because I inflicted with throwing knives. Yeah, it's the best I could come up with. But the problem is that it's a slow process. And I promised myself to not merely be passive, but to be bold. So, cross my bow and hope to die. Oh, whoa, not that way. No, whoa, what the fuck? Yeah, I kind of forgot that the hero can hear over the arrow. I guess there's more to him than meets the eye. But with enough patience, I managed to make this champion bow down to me. Now, it certainly took some time to get all this way, but contrary to my expectations, the next sections of the game went rather smoothly. Kunai are surprisingly effective at making the Storm King feel a little bit under the weather, and by adding a few crossbow bolts to it here and there, it didn't take long before it decided to take a rain check. So then I turned stage 2-1 into a massive salt mine, since all the enemies here are explicitly weak to pierce damage, meaning that even a crossbow is effective here. Yes, it's a slow and methodical process, but other than a few fat ministers, and perhaps some dogs here and there, nothing here can deal with range attacks to begin with. Now, of course, the armored spider is a different story, because how on earth can I deal with his range attacks, given how slow I am? Well, first of all, I technically could have cheesed him, because given how large of a target he is, you can hit the boss from the fog wall by free aiming, even though free aiming with a crossbow absolutely sucks. Now, I didn't do that because that would actually take forever, and you would think that the same would apply to getting close to him when you cannot run or roll. But one of the problems with Demon's Souls is the scaling of the stages, because if you come here relatively late in your playthrough, you can basically just tank your way through. It's quite ironic that little old me is more of a tank than the armored spider. Oh, sorry, the armor spider. Yeah, no idea why that would be the correct linguistic structure, but I'm sure that From Software consulted the highest authority of spider terminology, the famous and official dictionary when it comes to accurate use of arachnid-related vocabulary, crowned with the utmost appropriate title, the dictionary known as Webster. And after that, the dreaded Valley of Defilement, the place I am dreading most when it comes to the using nothing at all run. But right now, it simply came down to observation, patience, strategy, and making tactical use of soul remains. Yes, I'm very thankful that I could gain access to Blige after all, because that made this area feasible even with a low damage output. However, using a low damage output against the Leechmonger makes him rather suck. because of his healing ability. However, as I accidentally discovered during the SL1 Nuking Plus AoE only challenge, if you cling like a leech to this part of the arena, you can prevent the boss from healing altogether, forcing him into a single attack out of pure anger and frustration. Yeah, bet he could drink my blood after I emerged victoriously. However, in stage 5-2, I did feel a bit swamped by the massive amount of enemies within a close proximity. And these ones definitely have too much HP for my bolts. And I don't even have a clear line of sight to begin with in most cases. And then only one thing remains. Well, actually a whole bunch of remains to prevent yourself from turning into a collection of, well, remains. Hopefully I have enough of these things. Don't accidentally hit me. That's not a good location, but hey, it worked out. It worked out. Okay, now I have to be a bit more careful. I'm getting close to... No, don't push me off. Okay. Worked out. Okay, hold on. Let's throw another one. Okay, good thing I have enough soul remains, because here's the shortcut. Now, you might not even be aware of this, but the Dirty Colossus is explicitly resistant to pierce damage, making my bolts even less effective. And because of my lack of mobility, stemming from my lack of stamina, you can easily get stuck in a loop when you're covered in flies. And unfortunately, the game does not allow me to cover my honey into something akin to a vinegar-flavored attire. But something at least as sour is to take the lemon approach and just firebomb your way through this encounter. Not to mention the purifying factor of our cleansing infernal combustion containers. Although in that sense, perhaps I should have used some lemon pledge instead to clean the Colossus's dirty clock. And you would think that when it comes to the Night Pledge to the pureblood demon soul holding saint, that using the clever red ring would require a clean and spotless approach. But actually, you can somehow survive the splash damage, so to say, if you miss time baiting an attack in order to get him to lower his shield. And the reason that you would want to do it like this in the first place is because you neither want him to move back towards his maiden, nor do you want to give him the opportunity to heal himself. Because if you take too long, chances are that he will. But of course, the moment I went down to the lady herself, she decided that she would rather end her own life than to talk to me. Yeah, games really are providing a real-life immersive experience nowadays. Or perhaps the designers feared that I would lead this poor maiden astray. Yeah, but unless I would stay in clever red range, which I'm certainly not going to, but given that the enemy's HP scales up in the later stages, but my damage output remains the same, I once again had to resort to using soul remains for, well, actually the entire freaking stage. And actually, that was surprisingly feasible. Not necessarily preferable or exactly risk-free, but given how all the way back in my very first video, as well as in my Soul Level 1 guide for the remake, I did end up fighting the majority of enemies, despite relying quite a bit on soul remains, I do feel like I underestimated how powerful they truly can be. Although you definitely have to keep in mind that they are active for a very short while, so at some points you will need to throw them almost constantly. Again, imagine if there had been literally no way past the illusory walls towards Blige. Because, I mean, farming skeletons for them, yeah, by the time I would have gathered enough, my bones would be the only thing remaining as well. And definitely no soul would still remain. Now, of course, unfortunately, against bosses, soul remains are useless. And although fighting the Penetrator with a crossbow under normal circumstances would merely be tedious, but the arena is at least large enough to consistently avoid him, but without using stamina, that's a different story. Now, the pillars can slow him down, but those are gonna run out before his life bar will run out. And given that we cannot run, if he pokes you in the back, you're screwed. And since I'm wearing a less solid protection than before, getting penetrated will be a pain in the ass. Not to mention that he can slap you with his big instrument as well, because the most appropriate description for him is jack off. All traits, so therefore I relied almost solely on kunai, and well, I didn't exactly run away from him, More like a slow jog around the edge of the arena. But the point was to simply wait out the poison. And perhaps once in a while I got a safe enough opportunity to get a crossbow bolt in. And thus, after a while, he ran out of juice and fell down flaccid. So, after that massive dig, it's time for the Maneaters. The Maneaters. Let's just call them the proto-gargles. You know, gargling on man meat. But the thing is that means fighting 2 bosses at the same time, without running or rolling, and with a terrible damage output. Well, not to worry, there is a safe zone, where, when wearing the Thieves Ring, that will at least allow you to separate them. Allowing you to have a one-on-one fight with the second one near the fog wall. Unfortunately, there is no safe zone there where you could hide. At least not that I'm aware of, but hey, who knows what secrets are hidden over here. 69. It's a little better. Oh, whoa! I'm alive! I'm alive! Did I just discover a cheese tactic? Well, actually, there's no way for me to get back up again. The problem is I can't... What is happening? What the fuck is happening? What the fuck is happening? The environment was just disappearing. What the fuck? What the fuck was that? Well, and soon the world will be engulfed in the deep fog. Yeah, that was weird. Baron Castle says, be right back. Just gonna go beat Demon Souls normally. Do I now have to sing Snake Eater in Dutch, but in reverse? Because I'm going down the ladder. I actually had to sing the Snake Eater theme in Dutch while climbing this ladder, you know, for the charity event. Okay, let's sing backwards. But anyway, there we have the brushwood set. Basically, Havel's armor before Havel's armor. Oh, whoa! He saw me! What the hell? Oh, this is bad. This is not good. Okay, let's quickly poison him. Maybe that will help. Okay, this is really bad. This is really bad. Oh, 3 knives are not enough, that's for sure. Yeah, see? Both of them are here now. This is not good. This is not good. I wonder if I will be able to get back on the ledge. Let's see. Judicator Shield is too heavy, Dark Sindri. Together with his armor. It makes me slow walk. Okay, this might still be salvageable. Shit. Well, the armor is definitely doing work, that's for sure, but... It would be nice to actually poison him. Damn it, I'm almost dead. Heal. Move. Fuck. Damn it, why doesn't he get poisoned? What the fuck? I know they can be poisoned. I know you can instantly poison them with Poison Cloud after all. But the resistance is obviously very high. Yeah, I guess if I simply had used bolts instead of kunai, then... But that's the weird thing. I know they can be poisoned, so why can't I do it with kunai? It's a good thing that they have to go through the... Oh, fuck. Okay, now I messed up. Okay. That they have to go through the entire animation for their magic to activate. And that gives me 3 damage opportunities. Well, this basically comes down to if I don't run out of healing items. Or get knocked off the bridge. Crack? Okay. That's one. That's one. Lock-on is fucking me over here. Oh, no, don't fall off! No! Maybe I should fight him in the center, that I, less chance of... Oh, I have a good idea. I have an idea. I have an idea. Oh, fuck, that doesn't work. Okay, shit. Yeah, if I could hit him like this, that would be... Hey, hold on. Ah, the AI! Okay, hey, that I'll take it. Of all the things they could have fixed in the remake, they didn't fix the broken AI of the Maneaters. Prescateo and the Goblet of Fire. This is so broken. But hey, I'll take it. I'll take it. What the hell? Don't tell me that this works. Okay, not consistently enough, but hey. Got some extra damage in. That's also kind of broken that if you hit them at any point during that animation, they have to go through it again. I mean, again, I'm not complaining, but it's weird. Almost there. Almost there. Imagine this fight using nothing. I don't even want to imagine it, because I won't have the Thieves Ring then. Remember, the Thieves Ring is what messes with their AI this much. He gives me a free opportunity, and the Maneaters can eat my dust instead. The Maneaters without using stamina. Very nice. Well, as you probably already guessed, Flamelurker, suffering from a mental burnout due to the massive mindfuck that the OPness of the Thieves Ring can inflict, is precisely what made this blistering behemoth level barricade surmountable under these circumstances, counteracting his flame lurking by lurking in the shadows. Well, this was not exactly without a tremendous amount of tedium, but with enough patience, I got stuck against the wall and had to do it all over again. Okay, body form and flame resistance ring this time. But of course that doesn't actually help speed up the process. And the main issue was that half of the time my kunai or my bolts wouldn't even hit the boss, but got stuck in mid-air. Because the hit detection around this ribcage structure is actually treated like a giant rectangle. Regardless, it provided both safety as well as, well, frustration. But at least that was an obstacle I could work around, and Flamelurker was an obstacle I could surmount, but there was a whole collection of obstacles blocking the path to the draconic divinity. And perhaps a celestial lightning bolt could clear the way, but our inadequate acupuncture ammunition could not. No matter how many times you would hit it both with and in arrow, doing this section with only a crossbow was evidently not possible. However, firebombs did something. Problem was, I only had a few remaining in the first place, and the merchant is now all the way in stage 1-3, guarded by powerful and dangerous enemies that I can't easily dispose of. Not to mention the massive irony that I had to break through rubble here as well, in order to even reach the merchant in the first place. I feel like the game is just mocking me at this point. And indeed it was, because here's the final steel-toed shoe type kick in the nets. It takes an absurd amount of firebombs to inflict damage upon these pillars for whatever reason. Not to mention that when you can't run, the Dragon God is pulling no punches. Which has the benefit though that he can damage the first pillars for you to some extent. But even with that in the equation, the math doesn't lie. 99 firebombs are not even remotely enough to clear away all of the rubble. And after the first ballista, the Dragon God goes ballistic by using his fire breath, which unfortunately no longer inflicts damage on pillars. Even if it was possible in this game to place another set of 99 firebombs in front of the fork wall, which you cannot do in the first place, because your stockpile is, well, with stockpile Thomas of course. But even if you could, that still would not be enough given how many pillars still remain. So these half-broken pillars might as well be a solid brick wall. I can't beat this boss without using stamina. Nothing that I can use will be sufficient no matter how I approach it. And, well, actually, not even that over there is related to this problem. Because not even a miracle can help me out here. Yes, it is true that God's wrath can break the pillars and doesn't consume any stamina. But take one goddamn guess which boss soul it is that you need in order to acquire this miracle in the first place. Yeah. So that means it's over. I ran out of steam before reaching the finish line. The Dragon God, the proto-bat of chaos, is physically impossible within the rules of this challenge. Although there is one little technicality that still remains. What if someone else breaks the pillars for me? And who better to do that than one of the pillars within the Soulstuber community?
Hey, it's JK. So, what do you need me to firestorm today, Press? Hopefully this isn't going to drag on.
Thank you, JK. That's how to sugarcoat a bitter pillar. And thus, in the end, I still wasn't using any stamina. And as JK was blasting his way through the pillars, I think we can treat this as environmental damage. Because in the end, I would be the one to usurp the Dragon God, to become a divinity myself. One who never tires, but one who rests in power. And now, with his messenger that went before him, who was foretold in the prophecies of yore. Clear the way for the Lord in the wilderness, make straight in the desert a highway for our God. Let every valley be lifted up, and every mountain and hill be made low, and let the uneven ground become a plain, and the rugged terrain a broad valley. Then the glory of the Lord will be revealed. And no, I didn't make that up, that was in fact an actual biblical text. Still applicable, or maybe not so much given that I haven't leveled up faith yet. And perhaps I did evoke God's wrath just now. Regardless, thank you very much JK, and although unintended, it was a nice little preview given that we will in fact be doing a challenge run together very soon. And speaking of other human players, just for the hell of it, I wanted to go and check what the old monk would be like controlled by another player. And yeah, it went pretty much how you would have expected. Although, allow me this opportunity to not neglect the fact that when I did Bloodborne without using any stamina, I happened to get invaded and came out victorious without breaking the rules. Regardless, this time it came down to an NPC fight, and this was another example of where Poison did a lot of the heavy lifting, as well as me lifting my own heavy armor, which should provide substantial defense against his wimpy little claws that he got on Christmas. Also known as Santa Claus. He's quick and nimble, but I have heavy armor. That should count for something. Oh, that doesn't count for a lot. Okay, maybe that should count for something, but it doesn't seem like it is counting for a lot. Yeah, if only heavy armor had poise. That's unfortunately not a thing. Oh, ooh, heal. Fuckalicious. Okay, come on. He's really hanging on to that last bit of health. Okay, almost there. Shame that the poison no longer is active. Otherwise that could finish him off, but... Ow, whoa, whoa, fuck! Oh, oh no! Ooh! That was almost a very press continue type death. Okay. Only barely tanked for the magic, but hey. Fair enough, there we go. But now, the greatest challenge of the entire walkthrough remains. Well, actually, although I am of course referring to False King Allant, getting there in the first place was already a royal pain in the ass. At the very least, they did add a shortcut in the remake, believe it or not. Unfortunately, getting past the dragon at his second location, contrary to the first, is not an issue, as long as you wait for the fire breath to move from right to left. False King Allant himself, however, with such a low damage output, and his ability to charge across the entire freaking arena, while we progress like an asthmatic ant carrying some heavy shopping. That is, well... Yeah, I really don't see this happening. I can't even tank my way through this encounter. I mean, it would literally take a miracle to, Oh... So that's what that was. Remember, the rules are no stamina and no sorcery. Magic spells. But God's Wrath that we get from the Dragon God soul is a miracle. Which doesn't really seem to help us out either, because it also does low damage, given that I don't have enough souls remaining to level up high enough. And it's incredibly slow and drains all of my MP every time I use it, meaning I have to also juggle between spices and healing items. Oh my lord, is this even possible? Well, I'm not even really sure. I'm kind of on the fence about... Hey, hold on a second. Perhaps that will allow us to use this miracle to ascend the stairway to heaven. You know, in order to hide behind the fence around the staircase in this arena. And then let's just pray for another miracle of the RNG variety. Basically. Well, at least I hit him. But he still hit me. I really need like 30 extra levels or something, and then it probably could be feasible. Yeah, I'm stuck. I don't even know where I am. He just dashes all over the place. Okay, stay in place there. Good. Hey, hello. Is he locked in place? Please stay like this. Please stay like this. No. No, he doesn't. Of course not. Okay. We're making some sort of progress here. No! Oh my god. Oh fuck. Okay. Oh fuck, I'm getting hit. I'm going to get hit. I'm on the ground, I don't even know where I am. I can't heal. Wow, that was lucky. No! Fuck! Oh, whoa! Oh, that was lucky! That was lucky! Lucky, 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 lucky. Lucky, 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 motherfucky. Oh, and now I'm unlucky. Woo! Oh fuck, right next to him. Heal. Oh, so close. One more. Just die already, please, die! Yes! I got him! I got him! I got him! I got him! False King Allant. Without stamina. But with a miracle. It literally took a miracle to defeat him without magic. And very awkwardly move around this structure here, so... That's the best I could think of. Wow. So I had two very painful fights against False King Allant using God's Wrath. But hey, at least good that I made it. I love the technicality abuse. That's why I had it. That's exactly why I had it.
Let us proceed below to its lair.
We're already there. That's a silly thing to say. Oh really? I have to shoot my way through you? Oh my god. Getting to the boss is more of a challenge than actually fighting it. Can I set the old one on fire? Maybe that would be better. Just set the entire tree on fire. Hey, Lemon never could even make it to this point using only fire bombs, so this is basically what fire bombs only true King Allant looks like. You can't get to him using only fire bombs, but you can get to him without using stamina and without using sorcery. Magic, specifically. But it does take a miracle. That is my conclusion of this playthrough. What do you guys think? Which ending? Step on head or step outside? Y'all want me to go outside? No. Oh. Then maybe yes. My poor aiming skills saved the waifu. And Doom the Dark Ages comes out very soon. That makes me very worried with my poor aiming skills.